We don't lead anymore. People often ask me, Bill, how do you go into an all African-American inner city place that the team has 17 kids on the football team and they've only won 4 games in 10 years? How is it that 6 years later there's 80 kids playing football and you've won 18 games? How is it that you take $10,000 and you have nothing? I'll tell you what I did have. I had a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 4-year-old. That's something you didn't know. Yes, my children are now 20, 19, 18, 17. We got on city water and it cleared up, thank goodness. But how do you have $10,000, 4 kids, 1 car, and turn that 10 years later into a $50 million business with 120 employees, a 50-acre manufacturing facility in Memphis, and offices in Shanghai, Surabaya, and Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam? How do you do that? How do you coach a football team and build a business and build your family and stay married and do all those things at the exact same time? How do you do that? And I'm telling you right now, leadership. I'm telling you right now it's leadership, but it's a different form of leadership, and I'm begging you to listen to me about it. It's leadership. So we have all these problems. How do we fix them? I submit to you, there's a book outside, you can read about it. It's called Against the Grain. It's a national bestseller. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for, no, I'll tell you. I'm kidding. The book's out there. 3 things, 3 quick things for you. 1, a vacuum is a fantastic implement for getting dirt off the carpet. It's a terrible thing to live in. Number 2, a turkey person. A turkey person is a fraud. And number 3, your legacy's got to be worth more than $5. So here we go. Everybody's going to leave here. They're going to come in and vacuum this floor up. Next group will come in. Nobody even know you were here. Vacuum is a fantastic thing for getting dirt off the carpet. You know how a vacuum works. There's a vent. If you've ever vacuumed, guys, if you've ever vacuumed, there's a vent. It doesn't just suck in, it vents out. What happens is it brings air in. It spins real fast in a circle. The heavier particles, heavier than air, drop into the bag, and then the air vents. That vacuum, that circle is what I'm focused on. It's really fast. It goes like this. It just kind of goes from this point to this point to this point. Kind of, it does great getting dirt off the carpet, but if that's the way you live, you're kind of confusing progress with motion. See, here's the thing. When you surround yourself, leaders, with people who look just like you, who think just like you, who worship just like you, who espouse the same political notions as you, when you surround yourself with people who look just like you, think just like you, act just like you, talk just like you, worship just like you, then every conversation and everything you do is circular. You're operating in a vacuum. We have to get out of a vacuum to understand the other side. How can you possibly lead if you don't know a thing about half of the people in the world that you supposedly need to lead? I'm not saying we drop our ideals. I'm not saying we drop what defines us, but I'm saying we've got to understand and have real, open, candid, civil conversations about the stuff that matters with people that might have not an enemy position, but maybe an adversarial position. There's no way to lead people that you do not understand. And it is our job to lead everyone. How is it that you go into a football team with nothing but a bunch of black kids from a completely different reality, and 6 years later, you're all part of one thing? And I'll tell you this, you break down societal preconceived notions and you find out the truth on your own. You forget what people say about this group or that group, and you just serve one another. And you do it outside of your vacuum, and amazing things can happen. I wouldn't be standing on this stage speaking to you today if it weren't for that. Some people call it a cliche thing, a comfort zone. And I am not suggesting there's a problem with a comfort zone. I have my own. I travel all the time. I've got the business and everything I've told you about. When the world hits me in my mouth, I collapse. And my comfort zone is this leather chair. And I'm not kidding you. There's a 2-inch by 6-inch area on the arm of that leather chair that's a different color than the rest of the chair, because that's where the remote control had better be sitting when I get home. That's my chair. My kids know it's my chair. My wife knows it's my chair. My kids' friends know it's my chair. It's my chair. When I've had it, that's where I go. That's my comfort zone. It could be a foursome in golf, a little cafe, a back corner where you share a glass of wine or an espresso with your closest people. Maybe it's a church group or a synagogue group. It's your comfort zone. And I'm not saying it's bad to have one, but I'm saying if you exist in a vacuum, if you're unwilling to get out of your comfort zone, you will identify with what I'm about to tell you. I've recently noticed something about my time in that chair. Nothing profound has ever happened in my life or the lives of anyone around me when I was sitting in it. Nothing. And that's the danger of living in a vacuum. That's the danger of being unwilling to get out of your comfort zone and expose yourself a little bit, is nothing profound can happen in your life when you're sitting in it. Nothing profound can happen in the lives of the constituents in your districts when you're sitting in your comfort zone, because you don't understand them and therefore you can't lead them. I'm begging you, don't drop your ideals. Don't drop what defines you, but try to understand. Get out of your comfort zone. Just look at the demographics of this room. We have a problem, and it's leadership. And it's not just this room, it's this country.